SOP leniency for fully vaccinated Malaysians to be decided soon. Low-risk asymptomatic cases dominate daily infections. Welcome to News at 10. You're with me, Brendan Lepol. The easing of restrictions for individuals who have been fully vaccinated against COVID-19 will be decided at the National Recovery Council meeting next week. Prime Minister Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin said the proposed relaxation would serve as a benefit or incentive for those who have completed the 2-dose vaccination.
Dan lepas itu kita akan umumkan siapa yang telah dapat 2 dos, apakah kelonggaran yang akan diberikan supaya mereka tidak terus terikat dalam keadaan seperti lama. Mana there must be some freedom, some advantage.
The Premier added that relaxation might include permission to go shopping across districts when the movement control order is in force. This would be in line with the opening of more economic sectors when states transition to Phase 2 of the National Recovery Plan, PPN, especially in the Klang Valley. Tan Sri Muhyiddin also said the government is now focusing on the vaccination process in the Klang Valley in a bid to quickly reduce the number of COVID-19 cases in these areas. He noted that the government has set up a task force to, among others, ramp up vaccination in Kuala Lumpur and Selangor. He also, however, reminded the people to continue adhering to the standard operating procedure to curb the spread of COVID-19. In a related development, the government expects all senior citizens in the Klang Valley to be vaccinated with at least 1 dose of COVID-19 vaccine in the next few weeks. Tan Sri Muhyiddin said it was in line with the decision that this group be allowed to come and get their vaccine shots on a walk-in basis at all vaccination centres, PPV, and government health facilities in the Klang Valley from today.
Depan ini dalam masa seminggu 2 mereka akan dapat vaksinasi kedua. Ini satu langkah yang seperti penting untuk menentukan mereka dalam usia ini akan dapat bekalan vaksin sepenuhnya.
The Premier also said that all PPVs and clinics and health facilities under the Ministry of Health, MOH, are ready to accept these senior citizens whether they are registered or unregistered. Tan Sri Muhyiddin said that as of 15 July, a total of 3,025,275 senior citizens had registered for vaccination and that 2,680,880 or 88.61% of them had received at least 1 dose of vaccine. Prior to this, National COVID-19 Immunisation Programme, PICK, Coordinating Minister Khairi Jamaluddin had said that senior citizens who had not yet received an appointment could walk in at any PPV in Kuala Lumpur and Selangor to get their first dose of vaccine shots from today. The Prime Minister also said that Pharma Niaga is allowed to export COVID-19 vaccines to other countries but must first prioritise and meet Malaysia's needs under the National COVID-19 Immunisation Programme, PICK.
Macam dalam mesyuarat APEC semalam, banyak pemimpin negara seperti Indonesia, Papua Nugini macam melaung. Apa dia? Kerana masalah mereka tak dapat vaksin. Jadi saya fikir pasaran dalam negara penting diutamakan. Tapi kalau ada peluang untuk bagi bantu negara-negara yang tidak mendapat bekalan vaksin, saya percaya Pharma Niaga dan lain-lain pengeluar ataupun pembotol vaksin brand-brand jenama lain di Malaysia nanti insya-Allah akan datang boleh membantu negara-negara ini.
Touching on the supply of vaccines, it said that Pharma Niaga, which manufactures the Sinovac vaccine, is very close to fulfilling the 12.4 million doses of the vaccine ordered by the government. The Prime Minister also expressed pride in the company's success in completing pre-ordered vaccine orders and said that the supply would help the government speed up the vaccination process. Meanwhile, in a Facebook post shared earlier, Tan Sri Muhyiddin said data showed that vaccination has succeeded in sharply reducing the number of serious COVID-19 cases in the country. He said this was evident from the figures for admissions of senior citizens in categories 4 and 5 cases to Hospital Sungai Buloh, which had dropped by more than 50% in the past 1 month. Elaborating further, Tan Sri Muhyiddin said a total of 9.4 million senior citizens, vulnerable groups with comorbidities and persons with disabilities are targeted for vaccination under Phase 2 of the PICK from 19 April to August. He said the positive impact of vaccination was also seen among Health Ministry personnel who had been vaccinated earlier under Phase 1 of the PICK, which was launched in February. The Premier also pointed to an encouraging statement by Health Director General Tan Sri Dr. Noor Hisham Abdullah that more than 90% of the positive cases reported in the country yesterday were in categories 1 and 2. However, he has instructed the Health Ministry to be better prepared to receive COVID-19 patients in hospitals and give them the best treatment, as the world is seeing an increasing trend of cases with the emergence of new variants that are more vicious. The government will not compromise with factories which do not comply with the standard operating procedures (SOPs). Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob said the most common violation was failing to scan the My Sejahtera code, while stressing that the rule must be followed because through the application, the health status of the employee would be displayed. He said various excuses were given by the factory management to the authorities, including not knowing that their employees had not scanned the My Sejahtera code, even though the authorities had given clear instructions.
Sebab kita tahu banyak kilang-kilang yang lepas tu setiap hari. Kemarin saya umum 180 ke 180 melanggar perintah dan diarahkan tutup. Maknanya ada yang masih berdegil. Sebab itu saya dah beri amaran supaya patuh kepada setiap arahan daripada kerajaan. Sebab bagi saya bukan setakat ditutup, tetapi kompaun juga akan diberi. Kompaun akan diberi dan mungkin tindakan mahkamah akan diambil kepada mereka.
Earlier, Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri, together with Home Minister Datuk Seri Hamzah Zainuddin, participated in OPPATO, which was conducted at electrical component and food manufacturing factories around Klang today. Health Director General Tan Sri Dr. Noor Hisham Abdullah disclosed today that asymptomatic cases made up 54.6% of COVID-19 infections recorded in the last 24 hours. Out of the 12,528 people infected, 6,840 were from Category 1, which are those who show no symptoms of the disease at all. Those with mild symptoms are in Category 2 and make up 5,468 people, or 43.6% of COVID-19 infections today. Tan Sri Dr. Noor Hisham said on Twitter, adding that another 112 people are in Category 3. The ministry also recorded 122 cases in Category 3, in which the patients have pneumonia, followed by 44 cases in Category 4 yesterday, where the patients require oxygen therapy. There were 64 cases in Category 5 yesterday, in which patients are in critical condition and need to be put on ventilators. Meanwhile, Tan Sri Dr. Noor Hisham said COVID-19 claimed 138 lives in the country today, a new record according to the ministry's data. However, the Health Ministry also recorded 6,629 new recoveries today, raising the total number of survivors to 779,171 people. Basic necessities will be channeled to residents of the 3 localities in the Kerana district who have been placed under the Enhanced Movement Control Order (EMCO) from today until the 30th of July. Perak State Exco Razman Zakaria said residents of apartment Bukit Merah, Kampung Tersusun, Pondok Tanjung and Kampung Lubuk Binjai who face problems with the supply of food items can contact the Aid Collection and Distribution Centre, which began operation since last night. He said the state government guarantees sufficient food supply, including 1 box of food per family to alleviate their burden.
Keluarga lebih memerlukan lebih daripada kotak makanan tu. Mungkin kita bagi kotak makanan tu kalau dia ada suami isteri, anak 2 orang kecil-kecil lagi, cukuplah. Tapi kalau anak dah sedang makan banyak ni, kan, darjah 1 sampai darjah 6 ada 5 orang ni, jadi kita bagi kotak makanan 5 hari mungkin dia habis kan. Jadi ini yang berlaku keputusan dan sebagainya. Dan kita haraplah kalau yang macam tu mungkin Tuan Diu boleh bagi kepada sini lah maklumat, kita boleh bagi kepada tambahan dia.
He said this in a media conference in Bukit Merah near Bagan Serai today. The 3 localities were placed under EMCO until 30th of July following a spread in infections linked to the Ladang Solar and Kebun Sayo clusters. Apartment Tropicana Bukit Merah has 55 families involving 166 people, including 7 houses occupied by foreigners. Kampung Tersusun Pondok Tanjung has 82 houses involving 236 residents, while 44 residents in 11 houses live in Kampung Lubuk Binjai. Rasman, who is also Gunung Semangul assemblyman, said non-governmental organizations, NGOs, that wanted to help could send their contributions to the operations room, which is open from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Improving governance and integrity. Tabung Haji Review explain. Stay tuned. But first, the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation or APEC informal leaders retreat stand united to accelerate equitable access to safe, effective, quality-assured and affordable COVID-19 vaccines to expedite economic recovery. Now, the Ministry of International Trade and Industry meeting said the pledge was made at the APEC leaders' informal retreat held virtually yesterday, where the Malaysian delegation was led by Prime Minister Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin. The retreat was chaired by New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern and was attended by all 21 APEC economies, including the newly elected United States President Joe Biden, Chinese President Xi Jinping, Russian President Vladimir Putin, Indonesian President Joko Widodo, and Japanese Prime Minister Yoshihide Suga. Meaty, in a statement, said in his intervention, Tan Sri Muhyiddin regarded the informal retreat as an important occasion to reflect on any missed collaborative opportunities that could reinforce the efforts towards rapid, sustainable and even economic recovery. It also said the Premier also remarked that while it is comforting to witness the return to normalcy in some economies, many nations are still grappling to regain economic stability, referring to developing and non-vaccine producing economies in APEC. Since the issuance of the statement on COVID-19 by APEC ministers responsible for trade during Malaysia's hosting year in 2020, APEC has introduced numerous policies formulated to address the challenges arising from the health and economic crisis, which is expected to last for the foreseeable future. The review of Lembaga Tabung Haji's operating model aims to ensure that issues of governance, integrity and reputation are improved in the future. Finance Minister Tengku Datuk Seri Zafrul Tengku Abdul Aziz said the revision of the Tabung Haji Act 1995, Act 535, is to ensure the sustainability and viability of the financial institution in the future as a basis for safeguarding the interests of all depositors. Speaking to the media in Bangi today, he said the government is committed to fully guaranteeing the savings of TH depositors, which have now reached 80 billion ringgit.
Kajian menyeluruh oleh Jabatan Perdana Menteri, oleh dari bawah Menteri Agama, Kementerian Kewangan dan Tabung Haji akan dibuat untuk menilai model baharu yang dicadangkan yang akan dibentangkan semula ke Kabinet.
He added that the study will also take into account existing capacity, including TH assets, liabilities and human resource expertise. Earlier, Tengku Datuk Seri Zafrul handed over 1,000 food baskets donated by Bank Simpanan Nasional, BSN, for families in need around Bandar Baru Bangi. Starting this month, consumers will enjoy better quality subsidized wheat flour following the implementation of fortification, addition of nutrients in food of folic acid and iron in the supply of the material. Deputy Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs Minister Dato' Rosul Wahid said the government had allocated 5 million ringgit a year to ensure that the people get benefits and quality equivalent to various non-subsidized wheat flour brands sold in the market. He said despite the improvement, the selling price of subsidized wheat flour remained at RM1.35 per kilogram, so as not to burden consumers.
Harga tetap sama. Harganya RM1.35 sekilo. Maknanya kalau pengguna dapat lihat walaupun 35 sen dulu tidak ada asid folik 35 sen. Sekarang ni kajian injek 5 juta pun harga RM1.35 juga. Jadi kalau ada pengguna dapati harga naik, beritahu kita. Itu satu kesalahan.
He said after visiting the Pradong Mosque Vaccination Centre (PBV) in Kuala Terengganu today. During the visit, Dato' Rosul, who is also the MP for Hulu Terengganu, also donated 5 wheelchairs and 2 Wi-Fi routers for the use of the mosque. Now, the home-based teaching and learning PDPR school sessions will continue until the 31st of August. The Education Ministry MOE in a statement today said this decision was made after taking into account the current COVID-19 pandemic situation, as well as after discussions with the Health Ministry MOH and the National Security Council MKN. It said until yesterday, 61.3% or 253,366 teachers and administrators and 46.33% or 10,876 of support staff have received at least 1 dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. Taking into account this vaccination rate, MOE has decided that schools will be open in stages for face-to-face teaching and learning sessions from the 1st of September. MOE said the decision applies to all government and government-aided schools, private schools and education institutions registered with the ministry. MOE also said that it will work closely with the COVID-19 Immunization Task Force (CITF) to ensure the vaccination rate among teachers, administrators and support staff continues to be intensified. The ministry will provide more details on the face-to-face sessions at least a week before schools are reopened. The ministry will also take into account risk assessments done by the MOH and MKN if there is a need to change the proposed date, with any changes to be notified much earlier. In other news, discrepancies in a police report lodged following a robbery led to a group of foreigners being detained after police located part of the alleged stolen money in their house. Sentul District Police Chief ACP Beheng Lai said that originally 8 foreigners had been detained, or rather had been robbed on 14 July at a shop house near the Kuala Lumpur wholesale market. He said one victim was injured during a robbery after being attacked with a machete. The report lodged stated that losses were around 50,000 ringgit. However, during the course of the investigation, one of the victims told the police that losses were around 100,005.
Wang tunai yang dilarikan oleh suspek adalah hasil penjualan ikan frozen dan sayuran serta wang simpanan sendiri. Ketika kejadian, seramai 8 orang warga asing tinggal di rumah tersebut dan salah seorang mangsa, iaitu satu lelaki warga negara Bangladesh berumur 31 tahun, telah ditetak di kepala oleh suspek dengan menggunakan sebilah parang. Mangsa kemudiannya telah dihantar ke hospital Selayang untuk mendapatkan perawatan lanjut dan kini masih dalam rawatan di hospital lagi.
Briefing reporters today, ACP Beh said investigations into the robbery led to the arrest of 5 local men within 24 hours of the incident. However, only around 11,000 ringgit of the stolen money were found during the arrests. Items used during the robbery were also seized, including 2 fake guns. After noting some conflicting statements by the victims, another raid was conducted and police located 40,000 ringgit at the home of the victims. All robbery suspects and 7 of the victims have been remanded. All detained have been remanded until 21st of July.
46 people were made homeless after a fire destroyed 4 wooden houses in Kampung Batu Arang, Jalan Tun Mustafa in Labuan today. The victims, mostly adults, were at home when the fire broke out at 11 a.m.
Labuan Fire and Rescue Department Chief Ismaili Ismail said the victims managed to escape, but a 30-year-old woman was injured in the face while fleeing. He said 21 firemen in 3 fire engines rushed to the scene after receiving an emergency call at 11:18 a.m. Upon reaching at the scene, 2 houses, a 17-door Kongsi wooden house, were almost destroyed, while 2 other adjacent houses were 10 to 80% engulfed in flames. Firemen took almost an hour to put out the blaze. The cause of the fire has yet to be established.
Wrapping up news at 10 and headlining our bulletin, SOP leniency for fully vaccinated Malaysians to be decided soon. Join us for updates at 12:30 tomorrow. Till then, I'm Brendan Lepol. Stay tuned to Saluran Berita RTM and have a good night.